have to say it. When we cried out here on Dateline Abuja, the FCT administration listened to a very large extent. But my fingers are still crossed. I am waiting for the very heavy rains in August and September. That will determine if all the demolition of houses on floodplains, the reinforcements put in gullies and built bridges actually worked. But for now, this week, we took a ride around Abuja to see the places notorious for gully erosions and floods. Please watch this. This is Galadimawa, just 10 minutes away from Abuja city center. This area is notorious for heavy floods when it rains, and lives have been lost in this gully. The devastation was so notorious, the road was blocked after the last victim died in August of 2019. He and his car were swept away by the flood covering this very access road these cars are breaking the law by following. The flood in this area was attributed to houses built on floodplains in the neighboring districts, driving the floods to this area. There has been vigorous demolition exercises by the FCT authorities to ensure this road is not flooded anymore. Gully erosions are a result of the interaction of land use, climate and slope, and there are a lot of gullies in Abuja. This one near the major road in Guarimpa district was particularly notorious in the past. These days, people drive along this road without fear, and the demolitions of buildings erected on floodplains in Guarimpa has also helped stop the flooding on this road. This gully at the Gishiri area was also notorious back in the day. Reinforcements have been put in place to stop the erosion from taking over the road. This is Dutse Sokale, 30 minutes away from Abuja city center. A few years ago, this portion of the road was broken in two, following a flood that aggravated this already existing gully erosion. The residents say the interventions from the local authorities are temporary. They're still afraid whenever it rains.
Because we can't presume, even the NAMIT or Natural Meteorological Agency, they have not given up. For now, I don't know whether it may rain or, as we're experiencing it little by little, whether it may come up or it may not come up. So for now, we don't know. But what we need to do now is that the government should come and intervene for the road, because like now we need culverts also so that this place can be okay. Even if they do not tie, at least it will be. They should tie it. They should put the gutter, then fix some stones or do it in such a way that the water can flow freely to the river, so that they will not be flooding. Because this is what causes flooding. This dustbin and grasses and everything around here.
Still in Dutse Sokale, this road is called the Olusegun Obasanjo Road, as it leads to the Obasanjo farms behind these hills. The residents say living here has been horrendous. They are calling for help from the FCT authorities.
The erosion has been very bad during the rainy season. We don't even enjoy this place at all. Most cars, if they are climbing up, going up, coming down, the tire will start, the place is, yes, to start drawing them down. And it's very, very bad. Most times we have most people, like students, school buses, they don't even come to this side. When especially my son's school, if you call them, they'll tell you, take your son to the junction, because the road here is very bad.
It's really an eyesore, and of course, every month we check our shocks. The road is very bad. Every time the rain falls, our heart beeps. So we plead on any agency, the government, well-meaning Nigerians, anyone that wants to help us, because we have enough population there. It's over 3,000 houses in this part and the other part. So we are begging on anybody that wants to help us. They should come to our aid. This is Obasanjo Road farm, but the road has been deplorable situation for the past 5 years I parked in here, and we are pleading. Many people have fallen accidents. They have through bike, they fall. Children coming back from school, you see them falling on the bike. It's really affecting everybody.
The erosion here has been something else. For the past 3 years, it's been stories upon stories. For instance, we have had people come around here and they said, made a lot of promises. They want to do this, they want to do that. At the end of the day, you don't see anything coming forth. Then one thing I also noticed that anytime we have a problem around here, it's usually a very serious crisis for us. There was a time this bridge was totally cut off. People don't go out, people don't come in. So whatever the authority can do is going to go a long way to help.
I think we've been battling with that, and most of the time it has been mostly children, some females. Generally, we have had more like people falling, more people because of the road getting injured. Some have had to carry cast for a long period of time. Some have injuries or wounds they will have to nurse for life. So I don't know, if we can have something done about it, it will just be excellent for us as residents. We had to approach the local council area, and I think at some point in time when it was really that bad, they were able to at least do some what we call palliative measures for us. So, well, we are just managing and hoping that they will do better with what is on ground.
The topography of Abuja is undulating, with hills and icebergs that rise northwestward to a maximum of 1,060 meters above sea level. The challenges to the Abuja Master Plan has mostly been caused by the recalcitrance of developers, feeding on the greed of residents who circumvent the rules in the chase for cheaper options, especially when it comes to housing. The population explosion in Abuja has not helped either. Will these interventions hold sway when the heavy rains hit in August? Only time will tell. In the meantime, while the authorities do what they must to mitigate the environmental disasters in the FCT, it must note that as cities evolve, master plans must evolve as well. So my guest on the program is Mr. Mukhtar Galadima, the custodian of the Abuja Master Plan and Director, Department of Development Control for the FCT administration. He puts to rest this long-perpetuated rumor about Dutse Sokale being originally designed to be a zoo. I tried to get to the end game of the Abuja Master Plan, what can be done about districts with almost zero infrastructure, and how the master plan can cater to the population explosion in the nation's capital. Mr. Mukhtar Galadima, welcome to Dateline Abuja.
Thank you so very much.
I want to find out a few things, first of all, because we've been going around Abuja this week. Is it true that Dutse Sokale was supposed to be a zoo? Is this, because it's a rumor we've been hearing around the place, but since you're the one in charge of planning this town, is there any truth to that? Because many people believe that that's the reason why there isn't a lot of infrastructure, that the roads don't exist in those areas. Is there any truth to this rumor?
No, it's not true. One thing we should understand is that there is the federal capital city, and then there is the federal capital territory. So the federal capital city is that area that is being bounded by what we call the Outer Northern Expressway, that is the Murtala Mohammed Way, along the Kubwa Road, and then the Outer Southern Expressway, where we have the Upper Mechanic Village that goes down to, it will go to Kuje and bus at Gwagwalada. So this is the boundary of the federal capital city. We used to call it the crescent shape. But with time, there are some expansion from this crescent shape, where we have Katampe extension. But places like Dutse, Buari, these are outside the federal capital city. They are within the federal capital territory. At a point in time, some past administrators have even clearly defined the satellite towns. And Dutse fall within the Kuba satellite town.
Let's talk about the plan for the nation's capital. We've heard the stories. We know the name of this Japanese person who came up with the idea of the Abuja Master Plan. We know that it's supposed to guide the activities and the development structure of the FCT as the years go by. I am also aware that the Abuja Master Plan is kind of like a human being. It adjusts with the realities of the time. What is the end game of the Abuja Master Plan?
For us to understand the end game of the Abuja Master Plan, we need to understand what were the principles or the philosophy before the Abuja dream. It's very, very important, because it was from this dream that then we gave rise to the plan and then gave rise to the development of what we call now the Federal Capital City. The founding fathers, in their own wisdom, say the philosophy behind the Abuja should be based on 6 principles. 1, the principle of equality, the principle of citizenship, the principle of environmental conservation, the principle of city beautification, the principle of regional development, and then this principle of national economic growth. And when you look at these principles, gave rise or formed the foundation of the planning of Abuja Master Plan or the Abuja Master Plan. That is it. And the Abuja Master Plan, let me maybe for our viewers that let me explain a little to them, was the handiwork of an international consortium known as International Planning Associates. They were given this task in 1976 after a competitive bidding. Thereafter, sometime along 1978, the document that is called Abuja Master Plan was prepared.
Which you are a custodian of, by the way.
Yeah. And before the preparation of this document, a thorough survey of the then Federal Capital Territory area was undertaken. That is the ecological and then the socio-economic survey of this area. They try as much as possible to understand the geological setting, the hydrological environment, and the general geography of the area, as well as the people.
So what was the result of
the
this
result
research?
is the document that we have, and then the result is also the city that we are all proud of. On the scale of 1 to 10, we are 7 towards that dream.
7 over 10.
7 over 10 towards that dream.
Is it true that the nation's capital was supposed to cater to a particular number of people?
Yes.
What's that number?
3.1 million people.
3.1 million people. What's the population of the FCT right now?
I think we are beyond that.
We are beyond that.
Yes.
Does the plan cater to the fact that this expansion would happen? Because one of the criticisms about the Abuja Master Plan is the fact that we are not taking into cognizance the reality of our country. The truth is that a lot of subnationals in Nigeria are not functional. And a lot of people, it's in droves. They move into Abuja as they should. They have the right to search for greener pastures.
Yes.
Does the Federal Capital Territory have the capacity? Does this master plan cater to this increase that is not going to stop anytime soon? You do know that as the economy gets worse, more people will keep moving to Abuja, and we'll still have these people coming in. We'll still have to be dealing with the same problems over and over again. Does the plan cater to this scenario?
Yes. You see, the beauty of Abuja Master Plan is the provision meant for flexibility. And you see, when we're talking about the Abuja Master Plan, the Abuja City, there is the Regional Development Plan, where some of these things, these challenges that you are talking about, has been provided for, because it's supposed to cater for the entire people that comes in. So not only the city was planned for 3.1 million, but now I believe statistically we're over 3.1 million. But the regional territory is there also to accommodate. It is designed to serve as kind of intervening opportunity for the excess that will come in. So that's why one of the reasons why we have the Satellite Town Development Department, because by the time you provide some of these infrastructure facilities and services, a lot of people will prefer to go and stay outside the city proper.
What number will be too big?
You see, there is always a room to adjust.
What number will be too big?
10 million will be too big.
10 million will be too big?
Yes. 10 million will be too big. But when you look at the territory itself, that's about 8,000 square kilometers. And when you look at Lagos, which is not even half of that size, look at the population that is Lagos is catering for. We are not praying to be like that in terms of population size on this, but we have the provision to cater for the excess.
If the number hits 10 million, what's going to happen?
Definitely something will come up.
Such as?
Regional development plan.
Regional development
when we say regional development, now we are not looking at ourselves as FCT. There is also, that's why I say the plan is so flexible. It has all made provision for some of these.
So a regional development plan that will cater to this excess number?
The excess is that you share the rest to adjoining states. There is what
share the rest. How are you going to do that?
We have what we call we're
talking about people here.
With contiguous states with FCT.
How are you going to share?
By the time we start spreading our infrastructure facilities to adjoining states, then these people can move on there and stay. Like now, most people come from Nasarawa to come and work in the FCT, come from Niger, Suleja to come and work in the FCT. So that's what we mean by sharing the rest. Then we have a provision where we have to do joint planning commission with the adjoining states. So that's what I mean that we share it to the other states.
Mr. Mukhtar, you have your work cut out for you. In less than a year, you still have a lot of work to do. But we do want to thank you so much for making out the time to be with us today on Dateline Abuja, and good luck with the rest of the time you have.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so very much for this opportunity.